Hey guys.
All right, Mr. Biggers here, and today we are going to start Module 7, Lesson 3 on special exponential functions. Our standards are analyzing expressions and functions involving what we call the natural base e. So I like to compare e to pi, okay? So if you remember, pi is 3.14159. 26 and on forever. It's an irrational number. It continues on forever. E is the same exact thing. Okay, so E is the irrational number that this equation here approaches infinity. Okay, whatever. This value is calculated as this. So it's just another one of those pi things. What we're going to do is treat it just like a variable in a problem. Okay, so there's a way to get rid of it. We're going to talk about it. Also, if you graph the function e to the power of x, it's going to look just like an exponential function, okay? So it's going to keep growing faster and faster and faster. All right? And then there's just some different characteristics there to help you describe the graph, okay? So, example 1, how do we simplify these? A lot of you guys are going to want to type this in your calculators because if you look, there is an E button on your calculator. It's above the LN. So we can't just type these in our calculators because you have to actually have an answer with E in it. Your calculator is going to give you a decimal answer. Okay, so what we are going to do is just remember the exponent properties. If you have the same base in your exponents, all you do is add them. So e to the power of 7 times e to the power of -2 becomes e to the power of 5. You just add the exponents. You can change that to a decimal if you need to, but these problems want exact answers, okay? So same thing here. We've got -3e to the power of 2x, and then all raised to the power of 4. So what we got to do is set that -3 to the 4th power. We also have to take the e to the power of 2x and raise that to the 4th power as well. So I'm going to type in the first one in my calculator. So -3 to the power of 4 gives us 81. And then this one is going to be e to the power of 8x. If you remember, a power to a power is going to multiply those exponents. We've been working with that before as well. So the final answer here is 81 e to the power of 8x. Okay? So the next one here, we are going to figure this out. So we're going to split up the problem. So here is 42 over 14, and then I'm going to put my e's in a separate piece over here. Okay. So we can go ahead and simplify. 42 divided by 14 is 3. And then e to the 7th divided by e to the 5th. Well, if you multiply exponents, you add them. So when you divide, you're going to subtract them, top to bottom. Okay, 7 minus 5 is going to get you e to the power of 2. So your final answer here, 3e to the power of 2. Okay, I have some examples that you can do on your own for practice here with the Building Thinking classrooms. We're not going to cover them on the notes though. So moving over, now we're going to talk about solving. So how do we actually solve these? So you'll notice in the exponent, I have an x. So how do we get the x out of the exponent? So there's a few steps here. First things first, you want to solve for e. So get e by itself. Second step to these is you're going to get rid of e. How do you get rid of e? Well, you get rid of e by using what's called ln. It's the inverse of e. It's known as a natural log. You don't have to know what that means yet because we're going to learn about that later. But for this lesson, you need to know that you have to do the natural log to get rid of e. Okay? And then you're going to, step 3, drop down your exponent. You're going to see this in action in just a second. So there's our 3 steps. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to get e by itself by dividing 2 on both sides. So then you have 5/2 equals e to the power of x. How do you get rid of e? you're going to do the natural log of both sides. So this, what I'm circling in yellow right now, is what you're going to type in your calculator. Because your variable will then drop down, and you'll get your answer. So ln, everybody find the ln button on the calculator, 5/2. And you're going to get 0.916. 0.916. Okay?
So does it automatically cancel the E for you when you do that?
So that's a definition that we're learning today. If you do the ln, it's going to get rid of E and drop your exponent because it's the inverse of E.
Okay.
So the natural log gets rid of anything with a base of E. Okay? On Alex, if you have any Alex assignments, your correct answer is going to be left in natural log form. So this is what you would type in on Alex, okay? For our tests and quizzes, I'm going to prefer decimal answers because those make more sense to us as to what it is. Alex wants exact answers because, once again, this is an irrational number that we rounded. So that 0.196 is going to keep going on forever and ever and ever with random numbers, okay? So this next one here, if you're watching online, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can try it. In person, we are going to go ahead and solve for E. We're going to divide by that negative 1.5. Okay, so in my calculator, 6 over negative 1.5, or negative 6, is going to become 4. And then this is just left with E to the power of x minus 3. Okay, and if you remember to get rid of E, you do what's called the ln, or the natural log, to both sides. Okay, that's going to get rid of your E. Boom. And then you're just left with x minus 3 is equal to the natural log of 4. How do you solve for x? You just add 3 to both sides. So then you're left with natural log of 4 plus 3 equals x. That's what you would want to type in, Alex. If we need to know the decimal answer, you are going to type in ln 4 plus 3 in your calculator, and you'll get 4.386.
So we read that backwards,
Natural log, yes. I think it's because it originates somewhere in Europe where the language, like, switches. Like, if you think in Spanish, you don't say red wagon. In Spanish, you would say wagon red, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So that's why natural log is like ln, log natural. So, yes. Any other questions we got? Any other questions?
No.
All right, that's the video. Make sure you get your Alex assignment done. Pause and rewind if you have anything.